In this video, we're going to be subdividing polygons. So let's take a look at the word subdividing. That prefix sub means under, and we know dividing means to break or to split into groups. And then polygons are closed shapes with straight lines, things like triangles, squares, trapezoids, things like that. Let's take a quick look at an example of a polygon. This is a pentagon. We know that because it has 5 sides. Now, there are many ways that we could subdivide this polygon or split it. One way to do that would be draw a line right across here. And now we have a triangle, more specifically an isosceles triangle, and a rectangle. That's all subdividing means. It means to break apart. I could further subdivide this polygon, and now I have 2 scalene triangles and 1 isosceles triangle. There are other ways that you could subdivide this polygon. That's just one example. In order to subdivide polygons and identify the shapes that are within them, we really need to know certain polygons. So there are 6 types of triangles. I have videos on this that I will link below to go more in depth. But quickly, we have triangles that are identified by their angles. So we have acute, obtuse, and right. And then we have triangles that are identified by their sides, the length of their sides. So we have scalene, equilateral, and isosceles. Another group of polygons we need to know are quadrilaterals, or 4-sided shapes. We have our square, all sides are the same, 90-degree angles. We have our rectangle, we have opposite sides are congruent, all 90-degree angles. Over here we have our parallelogram, which means 2 sets of parallel lines. So right here and right here would be a set of parallel lines. Parallel just means that they would continue on and they would never intersect or never cross. The other set of parallel lines would be this one and this one. They will keep going in the same direction and they will never cross. That is what makes a parallelogram. We have a rhombus, which is similar to a parallelogram in that it has 2 sets of parallel lines, but all sides are congruent. And then in a trapezoid, we have only 1 set of parallel lines. Those lines will never intersect, but if we extend these lines on the sides, we will see that they do indeed intersect. So that means only 1 set of parallel lines, and then the other set is not parallel. Quickly, here's some other polygons that you might want to know. We have 5-sided pentagon, 6-sided hexagon, 7-sided heptagon, sometimes referred to as a septagon. Here we have an 8-sided octagon, 9-sided nonagon, and 10-sided decagon. All right, here we have a trapezoid, and many ways that you could subdivide that trapezoid into different shapes. So let's take a look at these. If you look right in the middle, I have a long line right down the middle of the trapezoid, and if you look closely, it just makes 2 trapezoids. If you look here, we have 3 triangles. Here we have 1 line right down the middle, and we have 2 trapezoids. We could split it into 5 triangles. Over here, it's kind of like we cut the ends off, so we have 2 right triangles, and then in the middle, we have a rectangle. And up here, we have a diagonal line that makes 2 scalene triangles. So there are many ways, and there are many more ways that you could subdivide this trapezoid. Let's look at another shape. Let's look at this hexagon. Right here in the middle, I have 2 lines that have subdivided this hexagon. We have 2 triangles, and then in the middle, there's a quadrilateral that looks to be like a kite shape. Over here, we have 3 triangles along the outside, and in the inside, we have an equilateral triangle. Coming down here, we have 6 equilateral triangles. Over here, we just have 1 line, which makes a triangle, and then on this side, we have a pentagon. Up here, if you just split it right in half, you'll get 2 trapezoids. So this is another example of a shape that you could subdivide many ways. There are many other ways to subdivide it to get different shapes. Finally, let's look at this parallelogram. All right, so let's look at this parallelogram. In the center, I have 1 line, which has subdivided it into a triangle and a trapezoid. Up here at the top, vertically, we split it into 2 different trapezoids. As we move down, we have 1 long diagonal line, making 2 scalene triangles. Here we have both diagonal lines, making triangles, 4 of them, and the opposite triangles are equivalent to each other, which is an interesting fact about a parallelogram. All right, down here we have one long line down the middle that just makes two long, skinny parallelograms. And then up here we have two right triangles and then a long rectangle in the middle. Our last few examples, we were focused on taking shapes and subdividing them or breaking them apart. What we want to look at now is taking shapes and building other shapes. So one of the best ways that we can do that is using tangrams. Tangrams is a 7-piece puzzle, and it has two large triangles, one medium triangle, and two small triangles, one square, and one parallelogram. You can use these shapes to make a ton of different designs. So for instance, just a really quick example is you can take the two large triangles. If you put them together like this, then you have a larger triangle. But with a little bit of rotation, you now have a square. So there are many designs that you can make with tangrams. There's a lot of online tangram activities. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you a website from ABCI. It has different levels, really cool things. So I'm going to show it to you now. All right, when you get to the site, you're going to have 3 options: easy, medium, and hard. I'm going to go ahead and click on hard. All right, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to take the tangrams, rotate them. You're going to try to fit all the tangrams into the shape that they have. So it's pretty easy and pretty simple. Another option to go into websites is they have many apps that you could download. So maybe with your parents' permission, you could download a tangram app and practice manipulating the shapes, making them into different things. So use the website, use the apps, either are good. All right, to wrap this video up, we're going to have a little bit of practice. So the first question says, how can you divide this shape to make a triangle and a trapezoid? So you might be able to sketch that down really quick and draw some lines to see if you can get a triangle and a trapezoid with one line. All right, the next question says, which shapes could be combined to make this pink shape above, which is a parallelogram? So it's either A or B. Go ahead and pause your video, figure them out, and then play to get the answers. All right, here are your answers. So basically you could draw a line in many places for this one. Here would be good. You could go from this point to this point, this point to this point. There are many options to make one triangle and one trapezoid. Over here, A will be the correct answer. All you have to do is slide over these two pieces, just like this, and you have that shape right there. Letter B, there's no real way to combine these shapes to make that parallelogram. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.